What's up, my peoples? Salutations, Yisrael. Want to give honor, esteem, majesty, favor, baraka, respect, reverence, splendor, and majesty to His Highness, the only one who deserves all those things, the only one that we should be worshiping, all right, the only one who can save, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and His name is Yahuwah. All right. Want to do a quick video. Y'all see what's been going on in this earth. Y'all see how America has been just slowly collapsing, how America has been slowly going down. It's getting worse. The politicians can't save it. The millionaires and the billionaires can't save it. The churches can't save it. The religions can't save it. America is going down, and it's the Titanic. You know what I'm saying? And so, but here, you see the title of this video. Got a lot of stuff going on in this earth. All right. And one of the basis of this title is self-defense a sin, is centered around, you know, what's going on down in Texas with the young brother who used self-defense to defend him, to get, you know, an aggressor off of him. And, you know, they're trying to get the young man for, you know, put him in prison for unaliving somebody. So, you guys know what I'm talking about. I'm not going to mention no names because I don't want nobody coming after me. This is just going to be a video based on, is self-defense a sin according to the Tanakh? All right. I'm going to be reading from my Safari app. Sometimes I read from my Septuagint. Sometimes I read from the Blue Letter Bible. But today I'm reading from my Safari app. All right. I'm going to start in Proverbs. All right. I have 7 verses of scripture that I'm going to go through, and then we'll, you know, I'll let you guys know what I think at the end of this. All right. So, is self-defense a sin? All right, let's pick up in Proverbs chapter 6. I want to start with something that a familiar verse of scripture, something that we all should know. All right, Proverbs chapter 6. I'm gonna start at verse 16. 6 things Yahuwah hates, 7 are an abomination to him: a haughty bearing, a lying tongue, hands that shed innocent blood, a mind that hatches evil plots, feet quick to run to evil, a false witness testifying lies, and one who incites brothers to quarrel. All right. Now, the 2 pieces of this Proverbs 6 verse, or Proverbs 6 passage, that I want to, 3. I want to touch on 3. All right. I want to, well, man, you could touch on all these as being part of that case in Texas. All these could possibly have something to do with that. But the 3 I'm a you know, bear witness to, the 3 I'm gonna bring out: a haughty bearing, all right, hands that shed innocent blood, and a false witness testifying lies. All right, so we're gonna start with a haughty bearing. All right, a haughty bearing meaning proud, you know what I'm saying, arrogance, somebody with a huge ego. This could apply to what was happening to the young man who had to defend himself. Maybe he was dealing with somebody who had a haughty bearing, you know, or, you know, maybe it was just a misunderstanding. All right, but if a situation like what happened in Texas, it's happened many times. When I was in school, I dealt with bullies, and those guys, a lot of those guys, not saying that the young man who lost his life was a bully, because that's what a lot of people are saying. I'm waiting on the information to come out in court. All right, I'm waiting on the video to come out in court. I know there's a video on it. All right, I'm waiting on the other evidence that substantiates calling the young man who defended himself a murderer, or I'm waiting on the information that proves that he could possibly be a murderer. All right, I'm just waiting. I'm waiting to hear the facts. We're told also in Proverbs, I believe it's Proverbs 18. We're told that we're not supposed to come to a conclusion without all the evidence. All right, so I'm waiting on that. But as I listen to the story, and as I listen to the other stories like it, there's another story like it in Texas. All right, where somebody lost their life in a similar situation. But sometimes there have been times that I had a hearty berry. You know what I'm saying? And there have been times that I've been in my ego, and I've been arrogant, and I've been proud, and I've been, could be considered, a bully. So this is not weighed lightly. You know what I'm saying? We know that the Father weighs things in a balance. So we just gotta wait for all the information to come out. But the hearty bearing, that could very well be a major staple in this situation to proving, all right, a self-defense type of argument. All right. Hands that shed innocent blood. If that young man who defended himself had malicious intent, this may play into that. He may have shed innocent blood. Or if he really was truly afraid and just defended himself, you know what I'm saying? And the other young man had a hearty bearing, you know what I'm saying? The Father might look at that as him not shedding innocent blood. We know that the Father views anybody that sheds innocent blood, it's an abomination to him. So this is going to be a part of that case spiritually. You know what I'm saying? And then the last thing I wanted to talk about was a false witness testifying lies. We have so many people out there that don't know all the facts. All right. And there are people that have put out blatant lies. There are people out there, and a lot of these people are claiming Christianity, and they've put out blatant lies against the defendant. All right. There's even been some lies put out against the victim. All right. There's been some lies put out against the victim as well. All right. So, I mean, it is what it is in that capacity. All right. So those are the 3 points I wanted to touch in that verse. Now I'm just going to go read some of these other scriptures, and then I'll tell you what I think at the end. All right. Now, let's go to Exodus chapter 22. Exodus 22, and we're going to read verses 1 through 3. It says, if the thief is seized while tunneling and beaten to death, there is no blood guilt in that case. If the sun had already risen, there is blood guilt in that case. The thief must make restitution, and if lacking the means, shall be sold for the theft. Verse 3. But if what was stolen, whether ox or ass or sheep, is found alive in hand, that person shall pay double. So basically, if a thief is doing something in the dark, all right, and is killed while he's doing something in the dark where you can't properly assess the situation, it self-defense can be a safe way to escape the burden of having blood guilt on you. All right, if you didn't know what the level of threat was because it was dark, according to the scriptures, you are not guilty of blood guilt. All right, for shedding innocent blood. All right. Now let's go to Exodus 23. Exodus 23, we're going to read verse 7. Keep far from a false charge. Do not bring death on those who are innocent and in the right, for I will not acquit the wrongdoer. That case down in Texas is going to come down to, all right, if they find, that the victim was innocent of any wrongdoing, all right, And spiritually, that means the guy who defended himself, the kid that defended himself, would be guilty of shedding innocent blood. All right, this is spiritually, this is gonna be a big case. You know what I'm saying? All right, let's go read Numbers chapter 35. A point I want to make in Numbers real quick. Oh, got my alarm going off. Sorry about that. Let's see here. All right, Numbers 35, and we're going to read verse 33. Familiar verse of scripture for some of y'all. You shall not pollute the land in which you live, for blood pollutes the land. And the land can have no expiation for blood that is shed on it, except by the blood of the one who shed it. All right, so we know America is guilty of a lot of atrocities, and maybe both these bloodlines became entangled. Maybe the bloodline of the victim and the bloodline of the kid that defended himself. Maybe they became attached in this sense to fulfill this scripture right here. For one bloodline for another. You got to look at things like that. All right, you just got to look at things like that. America has done a lot of treacherous stuff. A lot of the people who sit at the top in America, their hands is dirty. Their hands is bloody. All right, and so you just never know what happened in these bloodlines where the Father allowed this. You know what I'm saying? So this is the way I look at things. All right, now let's go to Deuteronomy 19. All right, Deuteronomy 19. All right, we're going to start at verse 4. It says, now this is the case of the killer who may flee there and live, one who has slain another unwittingly without having been an enemy in the past. For instance, a man goes with another fellow into a grove to cut wood, and his hand swings the axe to cut down a tree. The axe head flies off the handle and strikes the other so that he dies. That man shall flee to one of these cities and live. And then if you keep reading, it talks about the blood avenger. All right, and this is one of the reasons why the families have to be kept apart at this time during a case like this, because there may be an avenger that tries to take revenge out on either the actual kid that defended himself or one of the family members, to make it equal, to make it an eye for an eye. All right, because that's how the Tanakh talks, the Old Testament talks. Moses set forth the rules for eye for an eye. So that's what this is talking about, though. But in this case, if we had righteousness under the Ten Commandments and we had righteousness under Yahuwah's covenant, you know what I'm saying, this kid would just get to go to one of the sanctuary cities, because I don't think he meant to kill. I don't think he meant to unalive the other kid. I don't think that's what the case was. So, all right, let's go to Jeremiah chapter 22. Almost done. Let's see here. Get out of there. All right, there we go. Jeremiah 22. All right, we're going to read verse 3. This is what Yahuwah told the Israelites when Judah was still strong. All right, he said, thus said Yahuwah, do what is just and right. Rescue from the defrauder anyone who is robbed. Do not wrong the stranger, the fatherless, and the widow. Commit no lawless act, and do not shed the blood of the innocent in this place. Whether in Judah or anywhere, we're not supposed to shed the blood of the innocent. So I think this is one of those cases. All right, was the victim, was he innocent? Was his blood innocent? All right, and a lot of people are going to say, yeah, he was just a kid, he was just 17. But we got to look at this, we got to view this from the eyes of the Most High. All right, all right. Next scripture, Nehemiah chapter 4. All right, this is where we're gonna end our scriptures at, and then I'll tell you guys what I think real quick. All right. So, Nehemiah 4, and we're just going to pick up at verse 14. It says, when you hear a trumpet call, gather yourselves to me at that place. Our mighty one will fight for us. And so we worked on. While half were holding lances from the break of day until the stars appeared, I further said to the people at that time, let every man with his servant lodge in Jerusalem, that we may use the night to stand guard and the day to work. Verse 17, nor did I, my brothers, my servants, or the guards following me ever take off our clothes or each his weapon, even at the water. And this was just telling you how they stood guard while they rebuilt the wall. All right. And they were ready to defend themselves. They didn't defend themselves in just words. They had swords. They were ready to kill to defend themselves. All right. So ultimately, this is what I think. All right. I think the young man did not mean to unalive the other young man. I think it was a situation where he just wanted to get him up off of him. And there were brothers. So in that young man's eyes, if it's two against one and they both bigger than him, you know what I'm saying? He just needed something to get him up off of him. Probably didn't even look where he even stabbed at. Probably didn't even look. Probably just was like, get up off of me, kind of looked away, stabbed, and got up out of there. You know what I'm saying? He saw two people coming at him. And remember, the brother that's still alive said he's the one who had the initial interaction. So it was both of them. All right. So I think the young man does have a case for self-defense. And I don't think self-defense in this case is a sin unless the Most High sees the heart of the young man who was defending himself. All right. And sees that there was malicious intent. And also he sees the heart of the other young man, and that the other young man was in fact innocent blood. All right. And the defendant shed innocent blood. That's what I think this is going to come down to. You guys get down in the comments and let me know what you think. And until next time, you guys know I don't have all the answers, but I'll share what I learned. All right. And I'll share my viewpoint. Much love. All praise to the Almighty alone. Shalom.